stay away, and that teachers should immediately return to work as we are waiting for the response from the COVID-19 task force.
TUM has further requested government to consider appointing a representative from the union as an ex-officio member of the COVID-19 task force for continued negotiation on the matter. The education sector has over 100,000 teachers posted across various schools in the country and providing risk allowances to the IM would cost government billions of Malawi kwacha. Rachel Gonani, MBC, Lilongwe.
Meanwhile, the Malawi Congress of Trade Union, MCTU, has commended President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera for taking a personal initiative to engage the leadership of the Teachers Union of Malawi, TUM, in an effort to end the stay away. MCTU Secretary General Dennis Kalekeni told MBC in an interview in Lilongwe that this proves that Dr. Chakwera is equally concerned with the plight of teachers in the country. Kalekeni said the trade union supports the decision to end the stay away to allow dialogue to take place in good faith.
We want also to thank the president, the state president of the country, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, for engaging the leadership of the Teachers Union of Malawi on the 23rd of February 2021 at the State Lodge, where I think during their discussions the head of state urged the leadership of Teachers Union of Malawi to consider putting off the strike that was going on. We are very happy that the leadership of Teachers Union of Malawi has made an announcement in adherence to the call from the head of state that the strike be suspended and that all teachers go back to school. As Malawi Congress of Trade Unions, we join the leadership of the Teachers Union of Malawi in indeed urging all teachers to go back to school.
Now, players in the hospitality industry have been advised to be vigilant in the fight against the escalation of the COVID-19 pandemic. Deputy Minister of Labour, Vera Kantukule, made the remarks after touring resorts, lodges and Madeko Fisheries Company in Mangochi. Austin Kachpea has more in this report.
Deputy Minister of Labour Vera Kamtukule made a surprise visit to a number of various hospitality facilities in Mangochi, including Villa Tafika, Wapansi Hotel, Mwema and Jazaka Lodges, Sun and Sand Holiday Resort, Club Makokola and Madeko Fisheries Company. Kamtukule said the aim of her visit is to find out if indeed these establishments are adhering to COVID-19 control measures.
Our ministry is mandated to protect as well as to develop the labor force in Malawi. So the law gives us a mandate to visit any workplace to see how staff are being treated, because we promote what we call decent work. But also today our trip was in twofold. We came to find out if the employers are adhering to COVID-19 guidelines for the workplace, because we did develop COVID-19 guidelines to help employers on how best they can manage their workplaces. So today what was happening was we needed to first look at the welfare of staff in the era of COVID-19, because we are aware that there's been a lot of issues that have been happening. A lot of people have lost their jobs and all of that, and that is why we created those guidelines to assist the employers on how best they can mitigate the impact of the COVID-19.
Some of the resorts owners and managers have assured government that despite businesses going through tough times due to COVID-19 pandemic, the companies are not going to lay off staff. Austin Kashpea, MBC News, Mangochi.
Civil society organizations have expressed concern with the rapid increase of gender-based violence in the country, but commended government for avoiding state-sponsored human rights violations. Speaking under the banner of National Advocacy Platform, NAP, the organizations say despite government's efforts to end gender-based violence, the country continues to witness attacks on women and girls, persons with albinism and the elderly.
Government has the constitutional obligation to make sure that once it gets into government, it develops systems that deliver the mandate of government, including making sure that public resources are used for intended purpose. So if you have continued corruption, it is a sign that systems are not working. Who has the mandate to strengthen the system? It is government.
Our statement really touched on issues of the increase in gender-based violence. And we know that this is at the backdrop of the COVID-19 preventive measures, where there is limited movement by people. We know that for women, it means there are small businesses where they go out every day and order bananas and tomatoes have stalled, and this puts pressures on household, social relationships.
Now, the Minister of Information, Gospel Kazako, has appealed to community radio stations to be on the lookout for fake news that he says is affecting the country's fight against COVID-19 global health pandemic. The minister made the remarks in Lilongwe at the opening of a sensitization workshop for community broadcasters that has been organized by the Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority, MACRA. We have more in this report.
Faced with a wave of fake news, especially on social media platforms, on the COVID-19 vaccine that the country has procured, the government has reached out to community broadcasters to help clear the air on the lies, myths and misconceptions that are threatening to derail the fight against the global health pandemic. Addressing the broadcasters in Lilongwe, Minister of Information Gospel Kazako said the fight against COVID-19 is being weighed down by people that are peddling lies. And in a bid to stem the spread of COVID-19 that has affected about 31,000 people and killed over 1,000 others in the country, Malawi is set to receive AstraZeneca vaccine that has been developed by Oxford University. Just like other affected countries in the region, Malawi is planning to roll out a vaccination campaign that will reach out to about 11 million people across the country.
The vaccines we are going to have in Malawi are safe vaccines. It's not the first time that Malawi has had a vaccine. We have seen vaccines on tetanus, on polio, on tuberculosis, measles, and so on and so forth. It's not the first time, but you know also that internet has created a platform where people can also abuse information. So we are asking the public out there to pay attention. You see, nobody can be sick on your behalf, regardless on how wise, regardless on how brilliant you can be. If you're attacked by the coronavirus and you start getting sick, you start suffering from the pandemic, it is you who will be sick, not the person who told you not to go and receive a vaccine.
The minister said it is critical that the communities are fed the right information to enable them make informed choices on how to deal with the pandemic. In this case, he said community radio stations play a crucial role in setting the agenda for their listeners. On his part, the board chairperson for the Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority, Father Dr. Henry Saindi, said fake news is the devil overriding the fight against the pandemic.
What we have seen is that there is a lot of fake news out there, and what fake news is doing is to create a lot of fear and panic among the people. Yes, indeed, we have seen people dying. That is just a single reality. But that's not the only reality that we have also witnessed. We are witnessing every day so many people getting healed, and this information must be shared.
Since its surfaced in China a year ago, COVID-19 has become the world's biggest public health challenge, affecting millions of people across the globe. I am Edisa MBC Lilongwe.
Remember, you are watching MBC News with me, Jane Gogodas. A quick look at our top stories. President Dr. Chakwera to be installed as Chancellor of Mzuzu University this Friday. The Teachers Union of Malawi calls for the immediate resumption of classes in public schools. Football Association of Malawi signed MOU with Medical Aid Society of Malawi on medical cover for players.
To achieve great things in life, you must do little things every day, like the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate. One, wake up, wake up. 2, brush up, brush up.
1 2 1 2 1 2. Testing sound 1 2. Testing sound 1 2 3 4 5. Testing sound 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Testing sound 1 2 3 4 5 0 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Testing sound 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. 3 4 5 0. Testing sound 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. 3 4 5. Testing sound 3 4 5. Testing sound 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 3 4 5 0. Testing sound 1 2 3 4 5 0. Testing sound 1 2 1 2 1 2. 3 4 5. Testing sound 1 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 0. Sound check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 3 4 5 0. Testing sound 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 0. Testing sound 1 2 1 2. 1 2 3 4 5 0. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. Testing sound 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 0. Testing sound 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 0. Testing sound 1 2. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Testing sound 1 2 1 2. Testing sound 1 2 1 2. 3 4 5 0. Testing sound 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hash 1 2 3 4 5. Hash 1 2 1 2 1 2. One, 2, 3 4 5. Testing sound 1 2 1 2. 1 2 3 4 5 0. Testing sound 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2.